everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we're going to be doing my September bullet journal setup. Can you believe it's already September? Where did this year go? I don't know. But it's pretty fun, and I really liked how it turned out, and I'm very excited about it. It's also my last monthly setup for this journal because I'm at the very end of my journal, and then I'll get a new one. I ordered it a few days ago and I'm very excited. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so for this month I went with like a buildings theme. They look vaguely European. I'm not really sure how to describe this theme. They're buildings. So I'm starting off with my cover page and calendar. I'm doing a super simple calendar. Most of my planning will be done in some later spreads, so I don't really need like a super detailed calendar. So I just did it like this just so I can see a general layout of what the month of September is going to look like. And that's why I also filled in the boxes with the numbers so large, is because I don't really need to write anything in the boxes in particular. So I'm doing that, as well as labeling like the days of the week. I did kind of this like serif font. I don't know, something about September just makes me want to use serifs. I feel like I always use serif font in the month of September, but it just feels like fall to me for some reason. I don't know why. And then you'll see in a second as I start drawing the buildings and stuff, I wanted them to look a little more sketchy. Like, not as in like sketchy as in like untrustworthy, but like more like a sketch and less like a finished product. And so I purposely made the calendar look very clean to kind of distinguish between the background drawing and the functional elements, and then I do that throughout the setup, or at least I try to. So yeah, I just used my smallest micron pen to do the sketching, and I just used a really loose hand and kind of just was really loose with it and wasn't trying to make anything look perfect. In fact, I wanted it to look imperfect. That's what I was going for. I just found some inspiration pictures like on Pinterest for these types of buildings and kind of just went from there. So really it wasn't like nothing has to be perfect about it, and I just kind of went with the flow. And again, I just used a really loose hand for all of it. So I wanted it to look imperfect, mostly because I knew that I wouldn't be able to draw these buildings super realistically and have them look amazing. And so kind of purposely making them look more like that sketch look and imperfect, I think, worked out a little bit better for me in this situation. So basically what I'm doing is just drawing in all of the buildings, adding in little details. I did kind of bushes and like fences in between the buildings, and those were super easy to draw. It was mostly just like some squiggles for the bushes, and then the fences were just like lines, and I just made the tops pointy so that it looked like a fence. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing with these buildings. Keeping it super simple, trying to give each building some variation but have similar themes with the types of windows used and the general shape of all of the buildings, to have that cohesiveness, but then also just have them be unique. really wanted to add in these cloud elements as well. I love drawing clouds. They're like some of my favorite things to draw because they're so easy and they're just so much fun. So I made sure to add in some clouds just because I think it gave it a little more intrigue, I guess. Like the top area was looking a little bit bland before I added the clouds in. So I'm really glad that I went with that. And I will always just love me some clouds. So when it comes to the color placement on these spreads, I knew that I didn't want to fill in any of these shapes completely because I felt like that would ruin the vibe of it looking like a sketch. And so I kind of went with more of a scribbly type of style when putting my color down. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I like how it turned out. I think I do. But it just is different for me. But I think that I'll get more used to it the more that I look at it. And I think that it is something fun, but it's definitely different than what I'm used to. And I made it very scribbly, which is not something that I usually do, but I knew I didn't want to fill in any of these colors completely. So that's kind of why I went with a scribbly. And then I also just didn't want it to be like too much color in these spreads. I just wanted it to be kind of a touch of color for everything. But I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it. So let me know. What do you think? Do you think that the scribbly style turned out looking good? Do you think that it looks a little too messy? I'm curious. Is it something that you would do for your own bullet journal, or you're like, no, you can do that in yours, but not mine. So the next two spreads are my reading spreads. These are pretty similar to what I've been doing for the past couple months. So if you have seen any of my previous bullet journal setups, this will look very similar, be very familiar to you. But on the left side of the page is the worst book of September and best book of September. I've mentioned this before, but I like doing that just so that I can have critical thoughts about what I'm reading, I guess. And I think that it's kind of fun to just see that contrast between my favorite and my least favorite book of the month. And then on the right side is a place where I can write my to be read list. I don't know how many books I'm going to get to in September. My baby is due at the very beginning of October, but I have been having contractions and stuff already, so we'll see if she's born early. She might be. So I don't know how many books I'm going to get to, and this spread might end up looking very empty by the end of the month. I could either see myself reading a lot or reading very little, but I like having the space for it nonetheless. So I decided to keep the inside of the buildings pretty blank just so that I could use that space for writing out my thoughts and my list and stuff. So that's why I did not add very many extra details to the inside of either of the buildings. And then I tried to just kind of like keep everything pretty simple and just kind of add some of those bush details and fence and clouds to tie it in with the other spreads. And then again, I'm just using that kind of serif font for labeling the best book, the worst book, and my to be read list. I did add a door on the to be read because I know that my to be read list will not be very long for the month of September. So I did add a door so that it will be a little more interesting. And then again with the color, just doing some very light kind of scribbling just to add a little bit of color, but nothing too wild. So my next spreads are my content planning spreads. The past couple of months I've been doing like a YouTube planning on the left side and Instagram on the right side. I did not do an Instagram this time because I never use it. I always put it there and then I never write anything down. I just kind of post things. And I have not been doing great at posting on Instagram lately because I haven't been feeling super great. So I just decided not to include it in this month. What I did instead, I actually included a space for each week's video for September and October. I'm doing as much pre-filming as I can because, again, I'm having a baby. So that is why I included the month of October in here as well, so that I can see ahead of what I'm going to be doing. So for the left side, it just says like the date of that week, and then on the right side of the little chart for that, it says there's a little box for filmed and scheduled. That way I can see where I'm at with that video. And then I just put in 2 little mini calendars of September and October in the top left corner. That way I can just see what the month is looking like. That way this can help me stay organized and I'll know where I'm at, what still needs to be filmed, and what I can put up on YouTube to be scheduled ahead so that when I have my baby, there will still be content coming out, but I won't be like making it in that moment, if that makes sense. And then on the right side, I made a Kanban board. So a Kanban board, basically, it has different sections, and then I like to use like a sticky note, and so you can move it down each section. So basically, for this Kanban board, I have a section for filming, editing, uploading, description box written, thumbnail, and scheduled, I think. And so I'll just write like the name of the video on a sticky note, and then as I work through it, I will move it down the list. I did this because I am filming multiple videos at the same time, so that way I can see where I'm at for each video and what still needs to be done for each video. And then again, I am just adding in those other elements in the background of the buildings and the clouds and stuff. This is actually my favorite spread of the setup because I really like the contrast between the thicker lines of the calendar and the scheduling like sections, and then the looser sketch look of the buildings and the bushes and the clouds and whatnot. So again, I just used a really loose hand. I made it look really messy, but I really love how this one turned out. And I think that this is going to be a great spread when it comes to functionality, and it will really help me stay organized because that is what I need, because I can't remember anything these days. And then again, I just added a few little touches of color with those background sketches in the clouds and the buildings and the bushes and whatnot. So my last spread of this setup is going to be my first weekly spread. Recently I've been doing daily spreads, but I really miss having like a cute looking spread for each week. And I think that this will still be plenty of space, so I'm going to try it out again. But I missed having those like fun little sketches and stuff for each week, so I decided to bring back the weekly spread. What I did add in, as a little bit different from what I usually do with weekly spreads, is a section for each day of the week, just to write down like what my events are, and then a master to-do list for the week. That way I know kind of, okay, this week, this is what I generally want to get done. And then for each day, I can write down more specified to-do lists. But that way I can see in one place, okay, here's what I want to accomplish for the whole of the week, and here is what I need to accomplish on this day specifically. And then again, similar to with the other spreads, how I mentioned, I made the boxes for the days of the week very clean. I used a ruler and a thicker pen. I used my Sharpie S-Gel pen in size 0.7 to kind of create that contrast between the cleanness of the functional parts and then the more sketch-like look for the background. For this spread, I just did bushes, fence, and clouds. I didn't put any buildings in, just because there's already so many boxes going on. I didn't want it to look too boxy in general. So, yeah. And I figured that would be kind of an easy way to incorporate the theme into a weekly without spending a ton of time drawing very detailed buildings. And then again, just adding a little bit of color with those clouds and bushes. One thing that I did decide to do that you'll see here in just a second is I used the blue to just kind of highlight the days of the week because it was looking not quite colorful enough. So I wanted to add just a little bit of extra color in there since there was less of that sketching on this page. That way, I don't know, bring in a little more intrigue. Alright, so that is all of the spreads for the month of September. I think they turned out pretty cute and I'm really excited to use them. I think this is a super fun theme and it's something that I've been wanting to try for a while. So I am glad that I finally did. Alright, so that was it. I hope that you guys liked this setup. Let me know what your September theme is. And if you liked this theme, I don't know if I'm going to be doing an October bullet journal setup. I might not be because my baby is due the very first week of October. So we'll see when she's born. But I might not do any bullet journaling in the month of October just because I'll have a newborn baby. And who has time for bullet journaling when you have a newborn baby? So we will see if there might not be an October setup, but hopefully there will be more bullet journal content to come soon. So yeah, I hope that you guys liked this video. Please like it if you did. Subscribe for more like this, and I will see you next time. Bye!